In 1951, a 14-year-old boy entered an Australian hospital for major chest surgery. He survived because strangers gave blood. Years later, that same boy began donating blood himself. But nobody yet knew that something inside his plasma could help protect millions of unborn babies. His name was James Harrison. For more than 60 years, he kept returning to donate, and the reason his blood became so important was not discovered immediately. It began with a promise made after a medical operation. It ended with a legacy that reached families James would never meet. James Harrison was 14 when he needed serious chest surgery. The operation required a large amount of donated blood. The people who gave it did not know James. They did not know his family. They did not know what he might become. They simply donated blood, and that blood helped keep him alive. The Australian Red Cross later recorded that James pledged to donate blood himself once he was old enough. At that point, he could not have known that this decision would become one of the defining parts of his life. He only knew that strangers had helped him. 4 years later, James turned 18. In 1954, he began donating blood. He did not begin with a medical breakthrough in mind. He did not know his plasma contained anything unusual. He was simply keeping the promise he had made after his operation. For several years, James continued donating like any other regular donor. Then doctors tested his blood more closely. What they found would eventually connect James to a serious medical problem affecting mothers and unborn babies. But first, they had to understand exactly what was different about his plasma. Some mothers have Rhd negative blood. Some babies have Rhd positive blood. During pregnancy or childbirth, a small amount of the baby's blood can sometimes enter the mother's bloodstream. The mother's immune system may then produce antibodies against Rhd positive blood. In a later pregnancy, those antibodies can cross the placenta and attack the baby's red blood cells. This condition is known as hemolytic disease of the fetus and newborn. In severe cases, it can cause miscarriage, stillbirth, brain damage, or death. Before effective treatment, this blood group incompatibility created a serious danger for many families. Doctors discovered that James's plasma contained unusually strong anti-D antibodies. That discovery was significant because anti-D antibodies could be used to create a medication that helped prevent the condition. The treatment could stop an Rhd negative mother from developing the antibodies that might harm a future baby. James's plasma became part of the anti-D program, but the scale of what this meant was not immediately obvious. At first, it was just one donor with an unusually valuable antibody. The extraordinary part came from what happened next. James continued donating again and again for decades. James's plasma was not used simply as an ordinary blood transfusion. It was used to help create anti-D medication. That medication was given to mothers whose blood could place their unborn babies at risk. The treatment helped protect babies before they were born. James would donate at a center. His plasma would enter a medical process. Mothers would receive treatment in hospitals and clinics. The people involved were separated by distance, time, and circumstance. Most of the families who benefited would never know his name, but the connection between them was real. James had an aversion to needles. That fact is documented by the Australian Red Cross. Yet he continued donating. We should not invent what he felt during every appointment. We cannot know whether each visit was easy or difficult for him. What we can verify is that he kept returning. He gave blood and plasma for around 60 years. The unusual antibody made his plasma valuable, but his decision to keep donating allowed that medical discovery to keep helping people. Without his repeated donations, the potential inside his blood could not have reached as many families. James's story also became personal. His daughter received anti-D treatment during pregnancy. Other members of his extended family also benefited from the same kind of treatment. The blood James donated to help strangers eventually became connected to his own family, but the impact of his plasma reached far beyond them. The medication was used to help protect the babies of more than 2 million Australian women. That figure is an official estimate from the Australian Red Cross. It is based on the treatments produced and distributed through the anti-D program. James did not personally meet those children. His plasma helped make their protection possible. There was no dramatic rescue for James to remember. He did not pull a child from a burning building. He did not save someone in front of a crowd. He sat in a donation center, and gave blood or plasma. Then he went home. The effect of what he had done often remained invisible. There was no immediate way for him to see which babies had been protected. No list of names was handed to him. No single moment revealed the full result. His contribution worked quietly inside a medical system most people never see. That is why the number of donations matters. James did not donate once and disappear. He kept returning. One donation became dozens. Dozens became hundreds. Eventually, he had donated more than 1,100 times. The Australian Red Cross says more than 3 million doses of anti-D containing James's blood were issued to Australian mothers after the program began. The scale of his contribution was created slowly. It was not one spectacular act. It was a decision repeated for most of his adult life. James became known as the man with the golden arm. The nickname referred to the rare antibody in his plasma. But the phrase can make the story sound as if his body alone created the miracle. That would not be accurate. His plasma contained something valuable. Medical researchers understood how to use it. Hospitals administered the treatment. Mothers received it during pregnancy. And James kept supplying the plasma. The result came from all of those parts working together. A rare antibody mattered, medical knowledge mattered, and consistent donation mattered. The treatment helped prevent Rhd negative mothers from developing antibodies that could attack a future Rhd positive baby. Without anti-D treatment, hemolytic disease can be fatal. With treatment, the risk can be dramatically reduced. This is why James's blood mattered beyond the donation center. It was not simply helping someone recover from an injury. It was helping prevent a medical problem before it caused harm. The people protected by the treatment might never know a danger had existed. That is one of the quietest forms of life-saving work. Success can look like nothing happening. James continued donating until he reached the age limit set by Australian rules. On the 11th of May 2018, he made his final donation. He was 81 years old. By then, he had donated for approximately 60 years. His last donation was not the end of his effect. The anti-D doses created from his plasma had already been used to protect millions of pregnancies. The final appointment marked the end of his personal contribution, but the medical legacy of those decades continued. James continued donating until he reached the age limit set by Australian rules. On the 11th of May 2018, he made his final donation. He was 81 years old. By then, he had donated for approximately 60 years. His last donation was not the end of his effect. The anti-D doses created from his plasma had already been used to protect millions of pregnancies. The final appointment marked the end of his personal contribution, but the medical legacy of those decades continued. The number of suitable anti-D donors remains limited. The Australian Red Cross has said that fewer than 200 anti-D donors are available across Australia. That explains why James's plasma was so valuable. It was not just the number of times he donated, it was the combination of two rare things. His plasma contained the antibodies required for the treatment, and he was willing to keep donating for decades. A medical possibility became a nationwide program because people like James made the necessary plasma available. James's story is often summarized by saying that he saved 2.4 million babies. The accurate explanation is more precise. His plasma helped produce millions of doses of anti-D treatment. The Australian Red Cross says his donations helped save the babies of more than 2 million Australian women. The Guardian reported that his plasma was used in approximately 2.4 million doses of anti-D medication. So the story is not that James personally treated millions of babies. The story is that his donations became part of a treatment that protected millions of pregnancies. The truth is already remarkable without exaggeration. James once said of his donation record, "I hope it's a record that somebody breaks, because it will mean they are dedicated to the cause." That sentence changes the way we understand his legacy. He did not want the story to end with one famous donor. He wanted more people to become dedicated to helping others. The record was not valuable simply because it belonged to James. It was valuable because every donation represented a chance to protect another family. If someone eventually surpassed him, that would not diminish his contribution. It would mean the need was being met by more people. James died in February 2025 at the age of 88. By then, his donations had helped make him one of Australia's most important blood donors. Scientists continued studying the antibody. The Australian Red Cross has even described research into reproducing the antibody in a laboratory as James in a jar. The phrase is memorable, but the meaning is serious. James was one person. The need was much larger than one person. His contribution helped medical teams search for ways to make sure future families would not depend on a single donor. James Harrison's life shows that heroism does not always arrive with noise. Sometimes it begins when a person receives help. Sometimes it continues through a decision that nobody else notices. James received blood from strangers when he was 14. At 18, he began giving blood himself. Then he kept returning for 60 years. His story does not require us to imagine what he thought or felt. The documented actions are enough. He donated. His plasma contained a rare antibody. Medical teams used it to create treatment. Millions of pregnancies were protected. That is the legacy. The world wins lesson is this: you may never see the full effect of a good decision. James Harrison could not see every family affected by his donations. He could not meet every baby protected by the medication, but he kept showing up. That is how an ordinary action became an extraordinary legacy. You do not always need money, fame, or influence to make a difference. You may already have something useful to offer: time, skill, attention, patience, or simply the willingness to help again when the first act is over. If you enjoyed James Harrison's story, there are countless other examples of ordinary people achieving extraordinary things when life pushed them to the limit. Visit unleashyourstorm.com and explore the World Wins collection, where you'll find real, verified stories of courage, resilience, determination, and survival from around the world. Because sometimes the inspiration you need isn't found in a motivational quote. It's found in the true story of someone who refused to give up. And their story might just help you keep going through your own storm.